So, like Stefan mentioned, the name of the talk that I'm giving today is Architecting a Self-Sovereign Economy. The idea here is I want to introduce this company that we've been working on for about the past 20 months in stealth mode and show how our design and strategy and entire product suite addresses how we could actually create a self-sovereign economy. The name of the company is Synonym. You can go to the website today and visit at synonym.to and learn a lot more information than I'm giving to you in this presentation. But basically the idea here is at Synonym, we believe that Bitcoin is the most abstracted store of value, and all of our products are trying to show how you can use Bitcoin in a way to abstract any type of value and only use the Bitcoin blockchain to do things. So you don't need altcoins, etc. At this company, we basically have established a number of design principles that we use as rules, basically axioms for all of our products that are requirements. That includes Bitcoin only, like I mentioned. Bitcoin is the only blockchain. We don't use side chains, we don't use altcoins, etc. We make sure that the users always have privacy and trust controls so they can decide how their information is shared, whether it's shared at all, and who to share it with. We also require a scalable solution for everything that we're doing. That's another reason why we don't use side chains and we don't use altcoins. We just do not believe that blockchains scale. We also require that the products that we create are non-custodial. You're always holding your own keys no matter what it's for. Interoperable as well. We want to make sure that not only are we doing Bitcoin software, but we're doing stuff that are solutions for the web, or I would say the next web. And we want to make sure that this technology that we're using is interoperable with the things people are already used to using today. And everything we're doing is open source. MIT license, everybody can use it, everybody can apply it however they want to, and that will be true, for all of the things that we do in the future. So getting back to the topic of architecting a self-sovereign economy, the question we're trying to answer with this company and all the products I'm telling you about today is basically, what would it actually be like if we actually had hyper-Bitcoinization? What if there were no more banks? What if there were no more government regulations? What if there was no more big tech? What would the internet and digital economy actually look like? How would it work without those things? So I'm going to go through a few steps with you today on how we can achieve, obsoleting all of these things, how our products address these problems, and hopefully this will all fit together and make sense into one kind of atomic economy concept that I'll explain better later. Step one, obsolete the banks. The problem that I see is that for about 5 years now, most of the products and startups that people are doing with Bitcoin tend to be about bringing Bitcoin into custodial situations, bringing Bitcoin to legacy finance. And so you see a lot of things like giving people ways to loan their Bitcoin, trade their Bitcoin, etc. Everybody gets excited when there's news of a new possible ETF or the latest custodial loan company getting $10 million of investment, etc. I see this as a problem. I think there needs to be a company and a culture of people trying to actually get everybody to hold their own keys, hold their own assets, and control their own information. So what I see as a solution, as I mentioned, is self-custody. And part of the way we can obsolete banks is by working much harder to get Lightning integrated into platforms and into more applications. And also one thing that some of you will need some explaining, and I will get into it, but another thing I feel is very vital is tokens on Lightning. So these are the first set of products that I'm going to tell you about that we're working on and releasing at different times this year and next year. The first one is our mobile wallet. The next is Blocktank LSP. And the final is Lightning tokens, being able to pass tokens instantly over the Lightning network. The mobile wallet will release probably in the first quarter of next year. We've been working on it for about a year now, and it's pretty much ready. We just have to finish a few things with the design and do some testing and make sure it's safe for everybody. But the wallet will include support for Bitcoin and all of the typical Bitcoin features you might want to control your Bitcoin, choose your UTXOs, including stuff like RBF support, CPFP support with transaction boosting, etc. It will include full Lightning support. And one of the really cool things that we've done with the wallet is we've basically tried to do our very best to show how we think wallets should be providing Lightning to users. And so we have abstracted the user experience as much as possible by integrating it with our Blocktank LSP product. So our wallet is fully integrated with our own Blocktank LSP. Blocktank LSP just stands for it's like an internet service provider, like an ISP, except it's for Lightning. So it provides integration for different automation of opening and managing your channels through a platform, through an API. Now, we'll demonstrate this by integrating it with our wallet, as well as something I should have mentioned earlier is our company is a Tether-owned company. So Synonym is part of the family of companies that makes up Tether and Bitfinex, and so now this family of companies also has Synonym, which is a Bitcoin, specific company just for making Bitcoin products. As I was mentioning in our wallet, when the user wants to be able to pay something that they don't have the correct Lightning liquidity to pay, the Blocktank LSP and the wallet will sense it and tell them what they need to do and basically tell them what it will cost to do what they're trying to do. So they'll automatically be able to either open a channel, get more liquidity, or be able to receive a payment in any situation that they need to, just by simply approving a little added fee that goes to the Blocktank LSP and allows them to complete what they're doing instantly. Everything is zero-conf payments and zero-conf channel opening. We will also support, eventually, once it's fully ready, instant tether. So you'll be able to instantly transact, dollars using tether tokens or any other tokens that we may choose to support within this wallet. The final thing, which I'll explain a little bit better later, is the wallet will also support Web of Trust accounts. This will be an ability for you to hold your website accounts in your wallet using Bitcoin keys. The second product for attacking the banks is basically, as I've been describing a little bit already, the Blocktank LSP and API. This will allow anyone to integrate Lightning liquidity services for their users within any platform by automatically integrating with an API that they're familiar with, instead of necessarily having to do their own management of their own node. They'll be able to connect to our node and we'll do everything for them, and they can fully integrate this in their platform, application, website, whatever they want for their users, to give them the ability to hold their own keys for Bitcoin and Lightning. The API is one aspect of it, and we'll also have a website version where any of you users will be able to visit the website for Blocktank and just purchase any incidental channel liquidity that you might need. And then finally, of course, once the wallet is ready and once the tokens are finally issued and flying over the Lightning Network, Blocktank LSP will also sell channels for tokens. So you'll be able to buy a Tether channel to be able to have liquidity for Tether, so you can instantly transact in any type of token that you wish as well, as long as we support it. So why Lightning tokens? Well, I think that any of you that already understand why people use Tether in different countries and for different reasons can understand why instant Tether would be a strict upgrade. But the other idea here is, when I talk about creating a self-sovereign economy, you have to have some basic form of finance. And I'm not a big finance fan. I really don't like the idea of trading and all kinds of leverage and speculation and arbitrage and all these things. I see them all as inefficiencies. A circular economy should not have those, what I would call, problems. But we still need the ability for people to speculate on the future. People need to be able to issue credit on their own reputation as the most basic form of finance. And so what I feel is that having instant tokens would allow people to introduce a concept, and this was going to be up to you, to basically have gift tokens, which would be a strict upgrade over gift cards as a user experience because they would be bearer instruments. But this would allow businesses to basically issue their own sort of tether in a way, but it could denominate it however they're willing to put on their own reputation. So if I wanted to, say I had a coffee shop and I wanted to issue milkshake tokens, I could do so. If I wanted to try to grow my coffee shop, I could start selling these tokens at a discount for my users that rely on us every day already, and even be able to buy the tokens back at a discount safely because they're bearer instruments. These are all things you can't do today with gift cards. It's too risky because the gift cards are essentially private tokens. And so the idea here is that you'll be able to issue credit on your reputation. And then just like Tether has done, just like people have done for many, many years, but what we're going to do is, in the next step, explain how we're actually going to make reputation something you can actually measure. Step 2, obsolete regulations. As some of you may have known, I would have liked to have called this slide something different, maybe a little more provocative, but I was not allowed to by the legal team. They preferred I was a little bit more nice. So we're going to say obsoleting regulations. So the problem that I see here is that, governments mostly enforce via violence. And so what ends up resulting is you end up having this effect, like basically the Cantillon effect, where the businesses that more closely embrace government and embrace regulations end up getting advantages that make it very, very difficult to compete as a small or new business. And so the problem here is that we need to figure out a way to even the playing field and to not have violence be the way that we handle regulation and that we handle law and consequences of bad behavior. We need to find a way to self-regulate. And so I want to get rid of this overbearing regulation, unfair moats that major tech companies have, and just the idea of requiring violence to make the economy flow. The solution, as I mentioned, I believe, is self-regulation, and including uncensorable private networks that are interoperable and basically this design pattern called a web of trust. A web of trust, maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't, but it's basically a way of using keys, much like your Bitcoin keys, to identify entities digitally and then tag, like basically reviews or categories or metadata to these keys so you can measure them mutually with other people and establish like a private network of people that you trust and that you're willing to trust and share information with and transact with. So this is like the big, cool, risky thing that's been the most work that we've been working on that we're revealing today. We're making a web of trust protocol called /tags. And /tags today, you'll be able to download it from our GitHub and from our website, basically the first modules of it. The total vision is not complete yet. There are many, many more modules we plan on releasing. But for today, you'll be able to play with and use and install in any of your websites or applications /tags accounts, contacts, and feeds. /tags accounts. So basically the way this works is instead of just authenticating with a username and password at a website, you'll be able to cross-authenticate, bi-authenticate from both sides, where not only you, but also the website proves who it is using the key that you know the website as. So every time you want to sign into a website, you'll be able to use our wallet or any wallet that supports /tags and log in without using a password just by scanning a QR code. Now, you may be familiar with this with technology called LNURL auth, but this takes it to another level. It's a higher level of abstraction. It's not lightning locked, and you can pretty much use any curve you want to for keys. Ours currently supports Bitcoin keys because we know there are already wallets that already help you manage and store your keys for your assets. But now we want to turn wallets into also being password managers for managing your /tags accounts. And so you'll be able to do passwordless login. You'll be able to avoid getting man-in-the-middle attacked because the website will always have to prove that it actually has the key that you expect who it is. So even if you end up at Bitfinex.com, but they replace the I with an L and try to trick you, you'll still know that it isn't actually them because they won't be able to sign from the key you know them as. And so you can avoid various ways that you might be able to be hacked by using this method. And this also allows websites to become more uncensorable because they abstract the server from the key. And so the website can actually have multiple servers using the same key to administer them. And so this way, for example, something like, say, the Pirate Bay, if the piratebay.org gets censored and they get taken offline, they'll be able to respin up on a new server under any domain anywhere using the same key they used before. Because the domain can be seized from them, but not their key. And so they'll be able to still prove who they are and just move and take up shop somewhere else, and you'll be able to know you're in the right place. /tags contacts are very similar to /tags accounts. Basically, it works much the same way, except you use this for the same way you would use your phone contacts today. You'll be able to establish metadata about your friends and the people you trust and do business with, and you'll be able to hold this metadata yourself and only share it with only who you choose to. And so this is a new way to kind of upgrade the contacts user experience that you use in your devices today. And this is also a method for us to help you start bootstrapping your first initial web of trust for when the web of trust network is more robust and complete in the following months. Slash tags feeds are a really cool feature that basically, if you can imagine that when you're looking at your wallet, you have your Bitcoin, you have your instant tether, and now you have your website accounts. Well, imagine you're looking at that card at the same time, and you say you have a Bitfinex account. You'll see a little Bitfinex logo, and you might see also the latest update of your profit and loss, or the latest update of your balance at Bitfinex. And this all happens automatically in the background when you open the application. You open the application, in the background it uses your key to authenticate with the website and pull updates from any website you want, and then you can choose which primary metadata update to display right inside of your wallet without having to visit websites at all. This also gives websites a very easy way to add API key functionality, because now they can use this same channel, this same like encrypted slash tags channel to communicate with you and now do any sort of background updates, any sort of metadata updates, and you could essentially create whole application versions of your website this way, all using slash tags as a basis. Step 3, obsoleting big tech. As you all know, a major problem with the internet today is we have a lot of data collection, a lot of data surveillance. The advertising web, just, a lot of us are pretty much sick of it. We're sick of everybody listening in. You have your phone, you start talking about doing the laundry, and you start seeing laundry ads in Twitter. Like, there's just really, really creepy stuff happening, and that we have to figure out a way to kind of opt out of this. And we have to also figure out a way to stop all the censorship and all of the misinformation that platforms like Twitter and Facebook are creating by locking people in, by banning people that say controversial things, and by choosing to have their politics be part of how they run their websites. And so we need to find a way to basically fix this walled garden problem. Solutions, and again, in our opinion, would be to combine the concept of web of trust with Bitcoin and Lightning payments to create what we're calling an atomic economy. The products that we think help form this and help solve this problem that will be coming from us are slash tags, files, and networks, a publishing platform, and decentralized social media. Let's go back to that for a moment. Slash tags, files, and networks will basically be the first ways to apply slash tag schemas. I want to basically give you a little more detail to how slash tags works. It basically, I mentioned how it uses keys to cross-authenticate. Well, one requirement when you're communicating using the slash tags protocol is you also have to define and pass a schema. This schema is basically a way that you tell your peer what language you speak, how you form metadata about the keys that you're talking about. And so these are self-defining schemas, and all you need is for at least one or more mutual parties within your web of trust to support that schema as well, so they know what you're talking about when you're using these keys. And so we're going to use this method to have slash tags files, which will be a way for you to host and monetize files and categorize them as keys, and slash tags networks, which will basically be a way that you can start forming these interoperable private networks that are essentially webs of trust defined by schemas and permissioned by schemas. In the middle of the year, we plan to release a publishing platform that takes what I just described to the next level. Imagine that you're going to be visiting a website that looks very much and functions very much like a search engine like Google, except in the back, when you're actually authenticated, it's a publishing platform. You can host this website yourself, so other people can peruse and browse files dynamically based on their permissions, who they are to you. And you'll also be able to use this to publish files to other people's websites if they allow you to do so. And then towards the end of the year, we plan on taking all the same tech that I'm describing and really showing you what we think is a very, very elegant and optimal solution for decentralized social media. We have basically 2 applications planned that pair together to do this. I'll explain this to you in conferences in the future in more detail, but we really believe that this is like the true solution for decentralized social media. One thing I want to kind of describe a little bit at the moment, I talked about slash tags, I talked about the protocol, I talked about webs of trust, but some of you that are a little more technical and used to this kind of conversation will ask, well, how do we store the files? How do we establish this network? How does the network actually communicate? Well, what we're using in tandem with slash tags is a protocol called Hypercore. Hypercore is basically a modernized, souped-up version of BitTorrent. It works very similarly, it has swarming, it has sharing, and all of these capabilities, but it has a bunch of other cool stuff that it does. And the most important one I want to tell you about today is instead of using just a normal file for a torrent, it uses append-only logs. Append-only logs are basically these key-locked files, so you can still have keys that lock the file, and they can only be added to sort of like a blockchain. So you can have some of the qualities that some people claim are required to be able to do things like decentralized identity, et cetera, except you don't need blockchains to do them. And not only are these keys key-locked, you can also assign multiple writers to these files to decide which keys are allowed to publish into any hypercore that you're hosting. So if you can start extrapolating everything I'm saying so far, you can totally build out decentralized storage networks, abstracted encrypted storage where the people just are paid to do the storage and they don't even know what they're hosting, and you can have as much redundancy as you want and can afford. Step 4, this is the final step. Take responsibility. The problem is people have been trying to solve decentralized web and Web3 and all these things for quite a long time, since before Bitcoin. Nothing has worked. We don't have people using PGP keys. We don't have people hosting their own websites or even hosting their own email. We trust for everything, and we don't even measure that trust at all. But I feel, and we feel as a team, that we have designed a very elegant solution for all of this, but you have to actually use it. You have to be willing to try it. You have to be willing to integrate it into your platforms and actually apply it. If you don't do that, it won't matter. We can make the best design system that we want to, but if you don't actually take responsibility and choose to stop having people steal your data and resell it and control all of your content that you put on social media, well, you're going to be stuck right where you are, no matter how good of a design I can offer you. The solution, again, is to combine webs of trust with Bitcoin to create an atomic economy. The concept of an atomic economy is basically taking the ideas that you already know about today, where you have people talking about hyper-Bitcoinization and circular economy. Well, circular economy is essentially the idea of reducing any type of conversion to be as minimal as possible. You want the most highly efficient, highly relative, and localized system that you can have. So we want to combine the concept of Bitcoin and circular economy with the concept of webs of trust, with the concept of decentralized storage with Hypercore to create a highly relative atomic economy where people are only holding the data they need and care about and only transacting with the people they trust enough to transact for the purposes that they require. So I'm pretty much wrapping up the talk now. Today, you can go to github.com/synonymdev and check out many of the things that I talked about. Many of them are still under development, and we'll be releasing them within the coming quarters. But today, you can play with /tags accounts, /tags contacts, and actions. Actions are basically a way to wrap any type of server function inside of the /tags kind of paradigm. You'll also be able to use some of our libraries that we've created for Lightning Network, and there's more than what's listed here, but we've basically made our own version of the Neutrino node for mobile applications for Lightning, and we're also releasing an Omnibolt JavaScript library. Omnibolt is the technology that we're integrating with our products for supporting tokens on Lightning, so even though we are still testing and auditing this code, you can actually begin integrating and playing with it today, so you can be prepared for when our wallet is released and when our LSP supports tokens as well, and you can be right there with us competing to get other people to use your products as we release ours. We also have some cool libraries for letting wallets and applications add encrypted wallet cloud hosting backups for their application, and much, much more. So if any of this interests you, if you're a developer, please get in touch with me. We are hiring for many roles: Node.js backend engineers, Lightning production engineers, front-end developers, product designers, etc. We need it all. If you're any type of Bitcoin hotshot, we're probably interested in talking to you. So once again, the name of the company is Synonym. Check out our website at synonym.to. We're also on Twitter at synonym_2. And thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Fantastic.